Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk specifically about Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition and Spellstones. Alright, so Spellstones is a new magic system you can apply in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition today. You can bring this into your game immediately, and then it's really an incredibly useful, really revolutionary way to deal with spells in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So where does this come from, first of all? First of all, this comes from Runehammer Games' Viking Death Squad. So Viking Death Squad, if you're not aware, is a brand new tabletop role-playing game. It actually, here's a great question. Is it out? Is it not out? I don't know the answer, right? So I have the Viking Death Squad PDF right now, and I'm reading it. And I have the book pre-ordered, so I can play Vikings Death Squad today. I could just share the PDF with my players, which the game allows, just to my players. I can't put it up on some jank website or something. And I can begin playing immediately, right? Which is fantastic. But it is really a 5 out of 5 star game. And Runehammer Games, it has this guy by the name of Brandish Gilhelm. And he's their top designer. He's also the artist for the game. And this guy, there's more design talent in Brandish Gilhelm than there is in the entire, now that Mike Merles has left the Dungeons & Dragons design team, 5th edition design team. There's probably 3 times more design talent in Brandish Gilhelm than there is in the entire Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition design team. No question. It's not even a question. All right, so this guy, he is absolutely brilliant, and he's so smart that his stuff seems subtle, but when you start thinking about things the way he's thought about it, you realize how far behind you are. He's just brilliant. All right, so listen to this. Listen to the Spellstone issue. So what he does in Viking Death Squad is that spells exist in Viking Death Squad exactly the same way they exist in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And once you hear about Spellstones, you will realize how shockingly bad the magic system is in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, right? It's so stupid when you see Spellstone. So the way they deal with spells in Viking Death Squads is that spells exist in stones. They're not written on pages, they're in stones, right? So you find a spellstone, and then you identify the spellstone, and then once you've identified the spellstone, you know what the spellstone can do, right? And what you do to cast the spellstone is you simply squeeze the spellstone and point with 2 fingers, and the spellstone activates. Anyone can activate a spellstone, so anyone can cast magic in Viking Death Squad, right? So what do you do with wizards? How are wizards special? Well, it's brilliant, right? So one of the things is when you have a spellstone, anyone can use it. If you don't have Arcana, if you're not a wizard or a caster, right, and this is the same for, and actually this works exactly the same for clerics as well, right? So basically, when you have a spellstone, if you're a fighter and you use a spellstone, the spellstone is destroyed. It's done, finished, okay? Now, if you're a wizard and you use that spellstone, you will roll a percentage chance of the spellstone being destroyed, okay? At the worst, you might have a 25, at the worst, if you're a first level wizard, you might have a 25% chance of the spellstone being destroyed, right? At the best, it's going to be a 1 in 100 chance, right? And that means you might spend an entire campaign, and every time you cast from that spellstone, you have to roll a D100, and if it hits 0-1, that spellstone is destroyed, right? And that's if you're like a 10th level wizard, right? And so that's the issue, is the better you are at being a caster, whether you're a cleric, whether you're a druid, whether you're a wizard, you have a better chance of the spellstone being not destroyed, right? So spellstones are used up, but your Arcana skill, your ability to cast, means that when you use a spellstone, the probability is it will not be used. And that means you can use spellstones as much as you want. So when a spellstone is found in Viking Death Squad, everybody at the table, all player characters get excited, right? The fighter can be excited because he can use it once. The wizard can be excited because he can use it for the next 6 months, right? And so now, why should we bring this over into Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition? Well, once you think about spells as spellstones, you see how shockingly stupid Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition spell design is, right? And it makes me achingly sad when you think about this, right? So one of the things, we pretend to live in a data-driven world, but we never react to data, right? One of the things that Dungeons & Dragons Wizards of the Coast just announced, 75% of all Dungeons & Dragons campaigns never finish. They never meet an end. They dwindle, right? Also, that means that most player characters leave out at 4th to 6th level, not even reaching 8th level. That means that the player handbook is shockingly poorly designed, right? Just do the math, right? That means the vast majority of players are never using spell slots from 4th through 9th, right? And that means that literally 60 pages of the player's handbook, you could rip it out and throw it in a lake, because the odds of you ever using it in a game are slim to none, right? But the moment you convert Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition spells to spellstones, they immediately become usable by the entire team, right? By everyone on the play, by every single player character, and the wizard's ability to cast is honored, right? So you can give a 5th level wizard who can cast 3rd level spells a resurrection stone, right? Now, there's going to be a 75% chance that thing will be burnt out, right? But, and you can hand a 5th level wizard a 9th level spell, right? Because it has a limiter on it, because it's a spell stone. Every time a spell is used, you have the ability to lose it, right? But as soon as you take spells in the 5th edition handbook and simply convert them into spellstones that can be found on enemies, can be found in dungeons, can be found in wizards' towers, every single wizard, all the spells, no matter what, like if you find a 7th level spell in a normal D&D game, your wizard, first of all, nobody on your team but your wizard's going to care, because they can't cast it, right? Second, your wizard won't even care. He's going to shove it in his backpack and hope that your campaign lasts until he can cast his 7th level spell, and until then, it is literally dead weight. Exactly the same way, and I realize it. Like, I can't tell you the last time I cast a 6th level spell, right? And the reason, as a player, and the reason why is games never reach that high, and the data has shown us. But the moment you convert all spells in the 5th level spell in the Dungeons & Dragons 5th game in D&D 5e game into spellstones, you can encounter any spell, right, in the book. You can let people, and you can have the fighters can mount the spells onto their sword. The rogue can sling a spellstone as ammunition, right? Like you can. You can take a spellstone and put a sharpened tip on it, and now your ranger can shoot it, right? There's so much you can do, and every single spell is no longer dead weight, no longer a hope that your campaign will last, but a usable, rock-on, awesome, usable spell, and you as a dungeon master don't have to worry about it because spellstones break, and if you need to get it out of your campaign, you could just say, well, this spellstone has, a 75%, fail rate, whatever rate you need, and you can modify the spellstone so that if you only want to cast once, you're always going to give them a roll. There's always a chance they'll be able to use the spellstone once or twice, but just by modifying the fail rate on the spellstone, it allows you to use the entire book. It is absolutely brilliant. It comes straight out of Runehammer Games' Death Squad. And it's brilliant, and I think we should throw away the stupid magic system from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition that we now have the data is absolute cruft, crap, useless, 60-page, pull them out, burn them, throw them in the swamp because they're wasted space. Like, and if we're paying attention to science, which everybody keeps saying, we can't ignore data. And right now we have the data that 60 pages plus in the player's handbook are trash, right? So let's switch it. Let's just switch it up. That's my take. Are you going to start using Spellstones in your Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I sure as heck am. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a wonderful millennium.